Have you ever kept doing something knowing it was wrong for you? Without it you would be better, but you just can't let go. It sounds like an addiction, right? Well, in my case it's a little bit different, and now I'm struggling with making the decision, even though I know that I need to do it. I just can't convince myself, and that's why I'm here. Because I believe that if a majority of unbiased people agreed with my decision, I would have no excuse. So let me explain. I'm Harry, and I've been struggling with making the decision to end my relationship with my girlfriend Amber. We live together and have known each other for more than 6 years. We were friends first, slowly got attracted to each other, and started dating. Now, I regret ever saying yes to going on the first date with her, as I would not be in this predicament as I am now if I had just dated somebody else. But I can't really blame myself either, because at that point she was perfect. From the time we were friends until about a year of dating, she was the most perfect woman, at least for me. She was kind, understanding, beautiful, smart, and never doubted me. She loved me unconditionally, and I kept telling myself how lucky I was that I had bagged a woman like her. Also, she always has been way more beautiful than the woman that I usually date, so you can probably imagine that I was oh so very happy. I always told her that I was never going to let her go or do anything to hurt her. I made sure to always let her know that no matter what, I would always love her, and that I've loved her more than she loved me, which was true for a long time, but unfortunately, that feeling has slowly faded over the course of these few years. But the way I feel about Amber has changed solely because of her behavior. Over these years, she slowly started to change. Or at least I think she changed, but she could have always just suppressed her real self from me for some time. I didn't really notice it at first, but slowly Amber started getting jealous and manipulative with me. Because I fully trusted her, I never doubted that she was doing things out of jealousy and self-interest. I lost many friends and even quit my job so that I could be close to her. Now that I think about it, I never did these things because I wanted to, but because she wanted me to do them. I didn't even realize how controlling she had become until about a month ago. But even though I was blind to love, I still did notice many things, including her jealousy and toxic behavior. I once even spoke to her about this when I was still working at my old company, and most of my associates and my boss were women. Amber would blow up my phone when I was even 10 minutes late coming out of the office, and she would wait outside. She insisted on always meeting me outside my office and taking me home like a little boy. I thought it was a bit much, but at the time I believed that she just wanted to spend more time with me, as I was rarely free. But one day it was my coworker's birthday, and I was pretty close to her, so she took me and a few of my coworkers to a nearby bar just to celebrate. I told Amber about this days ago and only said yes when she said that she was okay with me going. We went and enjoyed it for a while until one of my coworkers pointed out that someone who looked like Amber was sitting over there far away. I was surprised to find it was Amber, who was there to keep an eye on me. When I confronted her, she acted like she had no idea that I was coming to this place, and she came with her friends because she felt alone. I got mad at her and went home after taking my leave, and I didn't speak to her for a few days. And only did when she repeatedly apologized to me and told me she could not live without me. I forgave her after she came clean with me, and just told me that she went there to look after me so that the woman would not use me when I got drunk. She told me that she trusted me fully and that there was no problem with that, but she did not trust others and was always going to look after me. Now, can you blame me for not being mad? She literally told me I mattered to her so much that she was willing to watch me and throw away her free time to take care of me. I was satisfied with her answer, but I made the mistake of telling her that I spoke about this with my brother and dad, and both of them told me to break up with her. The truth is, my brother, he never liked her from the get-go, but everybody else loved her. But when she heard that father changed his opinion on her, she felt like she had to do something. She got a job in a nearby city and manipulated me into fighting with my family and joining her there. It was not that hard for her to do, and she suggested that I leave my job back at home and come work here. And, this way we could just live together. I didn't agree at first, but slowly I started feeling that it was a great idea and did it. My family members weren't very happy with this, but agreed, because I've gotten a way better paying job. So I rented a house and started living with Amber there. That's when things went from bad to worse. Amber did not let me keep any female friends. But before you guys say, why didn't I see this red flag, she didn't do it directly. She would manipulate me into leaving friends and did not let me hang out with coworkers at all, or stay in contact with my good buddies. I think she did this last part because I'd spoken to one of my friends about everything that was happening. They would say, advising me to leave her and would have made me aware of everything that she was doing. I didn't realize it until recently, but I had slowly become very unhappy with my life. And my relationship, I just guess I knew a little bit, was scared to admit it, that I had started to lose love for a woman I believed was absolutely perfect. Being fully honest, Amber still loves me. Just like before, that's the only thing that has not changed about her. I think this love is what kept me fooled for this long, because she loves me so much. I refuse to see anything else wrong with her, and for months I've been feeling like there was something wrong with my life, or that something needs to change. And exactly 2 weeks ago it became crystal clear to me. 2 weeks ago, I got off work early and thought that I should spend time outside since Amber was at work. So I came home and went out, and surprisingly I ran into Dave, one of my old friends who I lost contact with after I moved here. He asked me if I had a time to have a few drinks, just to catch up. Normally I would have declined, but since Amber was at work, I agreed. I spent a few hours with them catching up, and when I got up to leave, I realized that I had not been this happy in over a year. The realization hit me really hard. I wasn't happy with my life at all. This entire drive back, I kept thinking. The more I thought, the more I realized all of it was because of Amber. I wasn't happy being with her at all. I realized how manipulative she's become and how controlled every aspect of my life she did. But I didn't want this to be true because I was and am scared that I'll never be able to find someone who loves me as much as she does. So I decided to wait a few weeks and see. Now that my eyes were opened and I was wide awake, it was pretty easy to see how she was manipulating me and how toxic my life had simply become. I'd spent the last 2 weeks trying to find ways to be happy with Amber, but I can't find one. I'm genuinely not happy with the kind of relationship we have, and I'm struggling to get through days with her. Honestly speaking, I've realized that she is not the person I fell in love with at all, and I know what I need to do. But I've not been able to do it because I was simply wondering if it's the right thing to do. She loves me a lot, and the jealousy and everything else stems from it, and in short, I'm really confused and just don't know what to do. So please help me by telling me if leaving her would be the right decision or if I would make a big mistake by doing this. I would love to hear from you. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. Oh my goodness. This story is about to get so insane. The first update's coming out right now. It's been 2 months later, guys. Here it is, update number 1. Hey guys, it's been almost 2 months since my post, and I do apologize for making you wait so long. The thing is that a lot has happened, and it's happening, so I could not find the right time to write an update. So let me continue without wasting any due diligence. Let me start with the good news first. I broke up with Amber, but it took way longer than I could have ever imagined it would. So this is how I came to the decision. I was pretty much on the verge of breaking up when I wrote my post, and seeing the majority of people tell me that I was right just made me more confident. Also, people who don't agree with me made the point that as long as we loved each other, things would be okay. The thing is, I had barely any love left for her. So after a week, I made the decision to tell her the truth about how I was feeling and what I wanted to do. So I sat her down and I told her everything. She stayed there silently listening to me, and I did not say a word for a minute after I was finished. She could not believe it and asked me if this was some kind of sick joke. I told her with all seriousness I want to break up, and she refused to listen. She tells me that I was not thinking straight and went to sleep. The next day, she was surprised that I was still trying, and when she kept refusing, I asked her to get out. She couldn't believe that I just said to get out and asked me if I'm being real. I told her everything she had done to me, and at the end, said that I did not love her anymore and she lost her mind. She said that I was hers and nobody had any right over me but her. She had tears in her eyes as she told me that she wasn't going anywhere to go. She had nothing. And I decided that I would leave, because as I was leaving, she begged me to stay and said that she would try to change. She even showed me a ring, saying that she was about to propose to me. But I could only say that I'm so sorry. After that, I myself was forced to leave and stay in a hotel for a few days, until Dave invited me to stay with him until this mess was blown over. Amber tried for over a week, but when she realized I was done, she left and asked me to move back. A week after that, I moved back in. A few weeks have passed since, and I feel bad saying that I've been really happy. I don't want to be so happy after leaving Amber in such a state, but I just am. I feel free, and I've done so many things I've always wanted to do, but did not because Amber hated them. But since last week, something weird has been happening. My parents, after ignoring my calls for days, have now refused to speak to me. They're mad at me about something I don't know. My brother has been out for a few weeks and says that he has no idea what happened, and will only get to find out in a few days when he comes back home. They're probably just mad because I've not come back in a long time. Anyways, I'll let you guys know what is up with that. Update number 2. Hey guys, it's been a few weeks and surprisingly things have gotten so much worse in my life. Now, I want you to guess what could be the reason behind my misery. Well, if any of you guessed Amber, I owe you a drink because you're correct. My ex-girlfriend's now going out of her way to make my life worse. Honestly, it's almost a really funny joke, except for the fact that it's happening to me. Let me continue from where I left off. So, during my last update, I was sure that the thing with my parent was not a big deal. But guess what my brother found out? Well, as soon as he reached home, he told me that Amber was behind my parents' anger with me. After I broke up with her, she went to my parents and convinced them that I cheated on her. And then I broke up with her when she caught me. She also made them believe that I did not like them, and that was the reason I moved out and rarely visited home or spoke to them. My parents, being kind and loving people, believed an ex-girlfriend over their own son, and that's why they were refusing to take my call. But because my brother was never going to believe Amber, and no matter what, they were still my parents, I managed to fix all of it very easily. Well, I had to go home and explain everything, and my parents were happy that I got rid of her, especially my brother. I also told him that I was going to respect his gut feelings from now on. I was mad at Amber, but I'd always just assumed that she was going to do something and was just happy it was over. But I soon learned that it was far from over. After I came back, I found out that Amber was not done yet. When I went to my office, I saw that my coworkers were acting really weird with me, and it was only when my boss told me that I realized what she had done. When I had gone home, Amber had come into my office and told everybody that I had hit her, and that she was a horrible person. She told my coworkers to stay away from me and to be careful. Fortunately, my boss knows me well, and my coworkers trust me enough, but they still feel awkward telling me about it. So I apologized to all of them, and my boss told me that he had warned security to never let her in again. The next day, I came out of my house to find my tires slashed and my car keyed. Amber has thrown a rock into my window, and as you can imagine, my life has started to feel as bad as it was when I was with her. I'm growing more and more frustrated with all this because she just won't leave me alone. I know it's her, but I cannot prove it. Also, I've tried to get in contact with her, but I've been blocked everywhere. I guess she's taking out her anger on me. What do you think that I can do about this? This is all really getting out of hand. Update number 3. It's been 2 weeks since I last gave you guys an update, and finally I've come up with a way to get Amber. Everyone, including me, believed that she would stop after the car in their house, but she just continued. She's not done anything more than talk to my coworkers outside to try to convince them to get me fired, which did not work. But I know that she's planning something. Do you know how I know? Well, that's because she directly told me to my face that she was going to ruin my life. After my last update, I contacted Amber's stepsister and got through to her. I asked her to stop this and she said no. Well, she actually said that she had no idea what I was talking about, and when I kept asking, she said that, well, what was happening to me was unfortunate, but I deserved it. Which was her way of saying that she was going to keep doing it, and in short, she refused to stop and implied that she was going to keep doing this until she ruined my life. A few days after that, I met another one of my old friends who owned a shop. Dave told me about him, and we just hung out. The next day, Dave told me that he saw Amber coming out of the shop, and the friend told him that she tried to turn him against me by feeding him lies. So this pretty much just proved that Amber was following me, and when I closely noticed it the next day, I saw the car she was using to follow me. I know that this may not be the right thing to do, but since she's refusing to back down, and since I've given her another chance, I've decided I think that I'm going to do something about it. You know, I've spent a few days thinking and have decided that since she wants to destroy my life, and is not stopping at anything, the only way to stop her is to do the same thing to her. I've planned and discussed this with Dave, and he thinks this is a good idea. So I've asked Dave to lend me his girlfriend, Emily, in order to trick Amber into thinking that I've started dating. This is going to make her insecure and make her do irrational things, and I'll for sure be able to use it as evidence against her. I don't know how long this is going to take, and I understand that there's a chance that Amber sees the trap. But I'm confident that seeing me date is going to make her so mad that she's not going to think rationally and do things that can, well, let me use as evidence. So wish me luck, guys, because I think I'm going to need it. Update number 4. 2 months later. Let me start by telling you that the plan worked. I just wanted to let you guys know at the start because I know many of you have been awaiting patiently, and I didn't want to make you wait any longer. Also, before I explain, I want to thank you guys for being there with me every step of the way, as I would surely not have been able to do this without you. After my last update, me and Dave discussed everything one last time before starting the plan, and I also spoke with Emily, his girlfriend, just to make sure she's okay with all this. When everything looked good, we started the plan the very next day. After work, I went into a bar where I met Emily, and we had a long talk that ended with her giving me her number. I wasn't sure if Amber was watching this or not, but we had to stay in character the whole time. And a few days later, I, quote, arranged a date, and we went out and had a nice time at a cafe where we know that we're going to get to know each other at. So when we were leaving, I saw the car Amber used to follow me in and was sure that the plan was working. Well, we went on another date where we essentially did the same thing, and probably at this point Amber was feeling the need to do something. So for the third date, Emily came to my house, and before we went out she gave me a big gift, which I kept inside. We went on a date, and when I got back I found my gift was gone. I knew that as soon as she found out what I was dating a woman, Amber was going to do anything to sabotage it, and losing a gift, it gave you immediately without even opening it would be a very good sabotage. Yeah, well, I didn't get to see her face, but I hope that Amber was really surprised when she got arrested out of nowhere. She was surprised to find out the truth about my plan when I told her days later. I explained to her how I planned everything, and there were a dozen hidden cameras that caught her coming into the house and stealing the gift. I left the keys where I normally leave them, and she used this without thinking that it could be a trap. She then tried begging and asking me to forgive her, saying that she would leave me alone forever if I just got her out of this. I apologized and told her no can do. So she's now going to go to jail for breaking and entering and theft. As hard as it is to believe, I actually feel bad for her, and I'm happy with everything that happened. I didn't want things to go this way, but she was not going to quit until I did something. I just wanted to be happy and leave her because I was not happy with her. Was it such a wrong thing to do? I understand why she was mad, but I don't understand why she had to do more after manipulating my parents. But no matter what, all of this has only told me one thing. Very clear, leaving her was the right decision. If I married her, I would have thrown myself into hell.